Hello and welcome to my uh, presentation here today about skin, nail, and nail assessment. Unfortunately, I am suspected to have came into contact with someone that was COVID-19 positive, and they told me to at least self-isolate until I'm able to test. That's why I will not be able to perform this assessment on somebody, but I will talk through the assessment as I demonstrate on myself, at least what I can, on how to perform or carry out an assessment of your skin, nails, and your hair. So first off we will go into the patient's room. We will close the door. We will wash our hands, introduce ourselves. Of course, we're going to do the checks, make sure we have the right patient. Um, and then once we get out of the way, then now we are good. We are ready to start the assessment. First off, we're gonna do a quick health history of the patient. We're gonna ask about any pigmentation changes. Do they have any moles? If they have any moles, have they changed in color, variation? If any kind of changes, we'll like to collect that information from the patient so that we have it. We're going to ask about are they taking medication that might affect the moisture of the skin, or at least the coloration or the nature of the skin. For example, if the patient is taking rifampin, we might see changes of the skin, stuff like that. Um, and then once we collect the health history, and now we will go ahead and start assessing the skin. And to assess the skin, we'll need a good lighting, probably a good bulb or a well-lit room. Or sometimes we can even use the sunlight. If the room is well lit, we might use that. We might need a magnifying glass to be able to visualize some of the skin that are maybe not we cannot just use with the normal eyes. So anyway, starting off, we're just gonna, maybe start. Let's start the nails. Looking at the nails, we're going to inspect the nails. First of all, you can do just a quick, you know, check the circulation of the nails. You're gonna press in there and let it go, and we're gonna watch for 2 seconds. It should be less than 2 seconds. It shows that there's good circulation. If it takes longer than 2 seconds, then maybe there's some compromise in your arterial or vesicular circulation. And then we can also check, take a visual of the nails themselves. If they should be flat and then go 160 at the end. Here, if you can see very well over here. But if there's some clubbing or some other shape, then maybe that's a problem, and we need to investigate that further. And also look at the nails more in terms of if they're brittle or they break easy, things like that. If there's any discoloration underneath the skin, underneath the nail, then that indicates a problem in there, and we need to investigate that further as well. Um, for the nails, I think that's pretty much for the nails. Then we need to inspect, and then comes to skin. We look at the skin turgor. We pull it up a little bit. This is probably the best spot to pull it. Pull it up a little bit and let it go. And there shouldn't be no tenting. It should go back to the original position like it was before we pulled it up. For example, I think my skin is pretty, and that shows hydration. If it tends, then it shows dehydration or some other underlying problem. When it comes to skin assessment as well, we need to make sure we're looking at underneath the toenail, between the toenails. Make sure there's no, there's nothing, there's no too much of moisture in there. Sorry about that. And we also want to make sure we look at if a patient is diabetic. We also want to make sure we're looking at their feet. Um, if they have diabetic neuropathy, they could have sores in there. They could have gangrene in there, and they could not know that they have it. So we want to make sure we look at that. We want to make sure we palpate the skin. It shouldn't be too hot. It should just warm. They should not be diaphoretic. We also look at any irregularity. Making sure that it's just nice and smooth. Um, if you're assessing an adolescent, maybe you'll see some acne, and you might want to ask them, what are they doing to at least alleviate the acne symptoms they have. And also looking at the hair, the scalp, we want to palpate and make sure we're not feeling any bumps, any too much of dryness, any flakiness. Palpate the hair as well. And I think that is pretty much that for skin, hair, and nail assessment. Thank you.